What's up? You're tuned in to Black Queens Uncut. Grab your wine, your vape, or whatever you need to relax so we can get into this queen chat. I'm going to meet, what am I? Okay. What's up? You're tuned in to Black Queens Uncut. Grab your wine, your vape, or whatever you need to relax so we can get into this queen chat. I'm Monique Lovelace. Queens, introduce yourselves.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Kiki Boom Boom.
And I'm TK Trinidad.
And today we're doing an online dating update. I know we did a episode before where we talked about online dating, but since the pandemic, I feel like some things have changed, and we're going to get an update on what's going on online now. And this dating thing. So, first of all, have y'all been back on dating apps during the pandemic? And do you believe that the pandemic has changed the way dating apps is looking?
I haven't been on in a while. I think, okay, so the pandemic officially started for everyone, say like 2020. So let's say from like 2020 to 2022. Yes, I did this thing where I would go on, but then I would delete it, go on, delete it, re-download, delete it. Because I think at 2020, when it first started, everybody was on, and I was a little shocked. And I think that's because we all were in the house in 2020. But it just became like the same old thing. I think that people hate about dating apps. Like, nobody was serious. Guys were just doing what they normally do on dating apps. I know for me, I'm not a fan of dating apps, and I'm trying to be a little bit more open to them because I've been told to be more open. So I do go in there like, okay, what's up, whatever. But I haven't been on in a while. I can say that. We're in 2022. It's been like some months. And then I read something, like I follow a lot of astrology pages on Twitter, and I keep seeing something for Sagittarius, and it's like, re-download that dating app. You're going to meet someone. Re-download. I'm like, ew, no, I don't want to. So I did in the pandemic. I've been doing it on and off, deleting, re-downloading, but I just hate dating apps. But I'm trying to be positive, and I'm banned from Tinder. So
Still.
Damn, are you serious?
I'm still banned from Tinder. So it's not a lot of luck for me in these streets.
Well, I think Tinder and
that's what
black
pisses
men
me
are
off.
the same. The same, or black. That app is. I think with a lot of the app, it's the same. Well, it'll be a little bit different for you, Kiki, because you kind of move between 3 different states. But
yeah,
I tend to see the same like people in
LA. It's the same people. But I will say, like TK said, now when I do travel back home to the East Coast, I will say last summer, me and my friends went to DC, and we all re-downloaded the apps. And I will say we got a lot of love in the DC bar because we were coming from New York. And this is when I was home last year. So New York, Jersey, Philly, Baltimore, DC area, we were getting a lot of love, a lot of pings. So that was different. But I feel like in LA, like TK said, it's just like the same people. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I downloaded it during the pandemic because I was bored. I was going out on dates too, a lot of dates. I even had like a little hookup buddy. So it was like I had one little hookup buddy, and then I was going out on dates like parks and,
That's good though.
stuff because nothing was open. And I recently just re-downloaded them because everybody's like, oh Mo, you gotta re-download them. And then with traveling, it makes it kind of like hard because I was just talking to somebody about that. The more I travel, the harder for me it gets here in LA because a lot of men treat me like I want to be treated when I'm somewhere else.
Facts.
And they don't treat me like that here when I'm in LA. So I'm like, okay, well, for the first time I got on Facebook dating.
Oh, how's that?
I like Facebook dating.
I actually do too. Like, I like the Facebook dating because there's more like variety. And I definitely feel right now, there are a caliber of men out on Facebook dating that you feel like, okay, I could date him. Like, and they're looking for more. Yeah, a lot of them are looking for more long-term relationships as well. So, and it might be the criteria that I put, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because even somebody was like, no, you got to get on Hinge. And I was just like, So right now on my phone, I do have Bumble and Hinge, but I never get on those. So I'm actually probably going to delete those like today. And then, but like I did get on Facebook at Facebook dating. I will say this. I've realized that dating apps to me are overwhelming because I'll match with all these people and they'll be hitting me up. And then it's like, I got to go through it every day of like 15 people and say, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like, I don't.
Yeah. I think that's what it
too
is
much
for me.
for me. Yeah, I realized that that's a lot for me. So I try to be a little like pickier now. Like if somebody says something that I like, I'll just be like, okay. But it just gets overwhelming quickly. So I just go out. I'm like, let me just go out and meet people. But then when I meet the guy, look, now I'm slipping over. Then when I meet the guys in LA, y'all, everybody, this is to all of my queens out there. Y'all think where y'all are at is horrible. It's bad. We'll say bad. Come to LA and be Black. It's horrible. Like our men act like us, like they're the prize. And I don't understand why.
Dating is tough here. It is. I remember when I first moved here, my friends from LA who live in New York learned when I was moving here, and they were like, girl, it's tough dating because, Los Angeles / California is huge. And, LA is a variety of women. And, if you're only dating Black men, it is a little difficult dating out here. And that's for the transplant and the men out here because they want a different variety. So when you see Black women, it's like, move on over. Because I know Black men from LA will argue with me. And I'm like, sometimes it's y'all too. It's not just transplants. Transplants, I think, are a little bit more worse. But there are some men from here who act the same way because they're used to seeing something their whole lives that when there's a different type of woman, they go for that instead of going for someone like us.
Right. TK, what's going on with your online dating life now since the
well, during the pandemic, I definitely agree. It was overwhelming. And then like I said, I took Spicy's course last year. And so it just trying to change my perspective. Like I had the same type of thought, like I just can't stand online dating. It's BS, whatever. And then when I kind of changed my outlook, and then also too, I had a like criteria. So like I would just, and it's the same thing. It was like visual. So I would just swipe or like or whatever. And then if they responded back to me with one word, then I just didn't respond. So I had a certain type of kind of system in my head that if you responded back to me with a sentence, and then bonus points if you actually read my profile, because ironically I don't read their profile, then I actually responded. So that actually kind of cut I wouldn't pay attention to any of the guys who said hey, any of the guys who sent me an emoji, like a fire emoji, like, okay, so we're not talking. And then with that, within a 2-week period, if they weren't trying to see me, then I wouldn't pay any attention to them. So it's like the guy I'm seeing now, I saw him within a week of us. Like he had the sentence. We talked on the phone, like we met up. And I find like guys who are actually really like about that. And also too, we meet in a public place. At the time that I met him, like we were kind of open. I think we're open. I don't know where we are in this world. I think we're in a pandemic. I don't know. But at that time, we met at a restaurant. And so I find the guys who are like, oh, come and hang out at my house. I'm not doing that. Like, I know what you want. I don't want to give it to you. So we can just cut that out. And usually they'll try a couple more times, then they'll stop. I have one guy, he still hits me up, and it's just kind of like, bro, like you don't have the time. 2, I'm not interested because it's been months. But I'm not the type of person to cut people off either, in that sort of way. But I found that when I changed my perspective on things, and when I kind of had what the criteria I wanted, it was a lot easier to sift through everything, because I was going on dates, but I could have went on a date every single day, but I don't have time for that. So it's like you had to, because I meet guys online, they're like, let's go out. It's like, I haven't talked to you on the phone. Like
that part, like, bro, you
yeah, it's like let's
you're
make.
very
I was like,
forward.
no,
I'm like, sir,
yeah, gas, makeup, outfit, like time. No, we're not doing that.
That's
I
what
need to
I
talk to you on
love.
the phone.
I will say this. That's what I loved about pandemic dating, because I threw on some leggings, met the people at the Starbucks up here, and I didn't wear no makeup or nothing.
I will say, yeah, the pandemic dating was kind of like fun a little bit.
Yes.
Because when I was DC and Boston, I was like going on dates, and I was like, this is different because I don't do this really in LA. And it was like no expectations. It was fun. The beginning of the pandemic.
It was so much fun.
I didn't feel like, because like Monique, I agree with you. They can be very overwhelming, the apps, especially Bumble, because Bumble, we have to make the move, and I'll match with all of these dudes. And I'm like, I gotta say hi to all of them. You want to know what works for me though? And I'll tell this to everyone who's listening. So there's sometimes I don't take them serious. Like if you read my profile, it's the dumbest thing ever. And the type of guy that I love is the guy who knows what I'm talking about, and he knows my jokes. Like my profile said, like I was Joan of Arc in my like past life, and somebody was like, "You're crazy for quoting Coming to America." I was like, "He's lit." But you know what worked? I know men are crazy. I would say like we would match, and I would say the dumbest shit. If you go on TikTok, they tell you like the funniest things to say. So I'd be like, "Oh, it looks like one of your wishes came true." Some bullshit. And I guess I was like, one of your wishes, what's the other two? And they'd be like, oh, that's so smooth. And I'm like, that's the dumbest pickup line. But if that worked for me for like 10 guys. They're like, oh, that's so cool. Oh. And I was like, I think it's dumb, but if it's working for you, that's how I got most of my dates, by doing cheesy pickup lines. Dumb. If you go Google or go on TikTok, it'll tell you funny pickup lines to say on Bumble to guys, and it works.
Oh my gosh.
And then even the simplest thing, something that Spicy told me is like actually complimenting them. Like, because if you think about it, guys don't really get like a lot, like, you know, you have the super pretty, handsome guys, they get compliments all the time, but the average guy doesn't really get a compliment. And so even just that, like, hey, handsome, how you doing? It's like they ready to go. It's just like, oh, it's really that simple.
Shit. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, I do that too. I do that too.
I hate it.
What do y'all look for when y'all are swiping?
I'm not gonna hold y'all. I don't really read profiles.
I don't read profiles either. I have to have more than one pick. That's one thing.
And then your page has to like verified. Like I normally see if like your Instagram's connected, because that helps, and not to see like because what you look like, but it lets me know you're a real person. And you're not like a fake page. Because then I'm like, okay, their Instagram, their Spotify's connected, and that's for Bumble. And like TK said, like more than one photo.
Yeah,
I do photos because sometimes guys will put photos with their girlfriends, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Or like their kids, and I'm like, okay, probably not. But sometimes I will read. If like the first line catches me, I will continue to read. And if you have a funny profile, because I'm a goofy person, that kind of helps for me. But definitely a verified page. And if your Instagram's connected, and then sometimes I see that we know the same people, so that kind of helps too.
Right.
Yeah, that helps. Honestly, Facebook is really good for that too.
Facebook they are. Facebook is good for that. But I honestly, like when I first start out, I do read the profiles. Like I'll read your profile. I'll see like if you match the criteria I want or whatever. Cause like the thing about Hinge is like, no, I think it's Bumble. One of the two, you can't really set a lot of preferences or criteria. And I don't like that. Cause I need to get straight to the point. I do not need to have this broad criteria when I know you might be cute, but I'm not going to deal with that.
Can I ask you guys? Because Hinge, they allow you to do, I've seen it on TikTok. I haven't been on Hinge in like a year or two. I've only been on Bumble. Hinge now allows you to have a voice thing and people can talk.
Yes.
Oh, that's lit. Maybe I should get back on Hinge.
Yes, they do. They do. And this one guy, he was sending me messages on Hinge through his voice because he said that his voice is more people like his voice than just But he wasn't looking for nothing. So I was just like, why are you even?
Ooh, tomato, corny.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like yes, they do. Through Hinge, they let you they even let you put like a voice note in your profile now.
Yeah,
and it'll be right at the top. Yeah.
That seems cool. I've seen it on TikTok videos, but I haven't been on in so long because I'm overwhelmed with the app. So I kind of just stayed with Bumble. And then I'm upset because I got into either the league or Raya, but I took too long to answer. And they're like, you took too long, so now you can't come in here. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, damn. So now I can't go back. And now I'm banned from Tinder. So I only have Bumble and Hinge. And now I'm going to try Facebook.
Yeah, I think Facebook has a really great quality in there.
I'm like, why am I being banned from dating apps?
Facebook does. I will say that I was really shocked because I didn't want to get on there. I was like, this is going to be ghetto because Facebook is ghetto.
That's why I didn't want to do it. That's why I didn't want to do it. I was like, Facebook. But now that you both are saying it, you know what? That's going to be my challenge. This is what I'm going to do. And everybody listening, it's 2022. I'm going to re-download Bumble, Hinge, and I'm going to try Facebook.
Yeah. And then also go in it with the...
Yes, I'm going to be serious.
The mindset of whatever you want.
Yes, no, I'm going to be serious. Because sometimes, like, my profile is dumb. Like, my whole profile on Bumble literally is all about food. And guys catch it. And that the guys who catch it, I do like them. Because it literally says, what's one thing you hope never happens? And my answer says that I will never not eat again. It's the dumbest shit. So I know I need to be more serious. But I did switch my photos. My photos are more serious.
What you mean they're more serious?
Like, notice that like when I was posting photos, because I am a big breasted woman, so it doesn't matter what I wear, you're gonna know that I have big boobs. So it doesn't matter if I have a shirt like this, I wear a lot of graphic tees, but I posted more like less bikini photos, less cleavage shots. I posted
because you attract those type of guys.
Exactly. And I was like, and I it sucks that women are sexualized like that, even when we're not trying to be sexualized.
Yeah.
I may just post a beach photo, but I was like, you know what, let me take those photos down. So now I have like fully like clothed photos. You don't even see anything. So, and that actually worked too. When I was on the East Coast,
yeah,
it worked. And I was like, oh, okay. Hey,
it does, because you attract a different type of guy that kind of wants to, that does want to talk to you. And I realized that too, because I was like posting photos that have my boobs kind of out and I looked sexy and like I was on the beach or whatever. Mm-hmm. And now I switched it up and I posted photos of me, like my profile photo. I literally sat with one of my friends and we went through all my photos and we did like profile photos. And she was like, no, not that one. She was like, I think you look friendly in this one. So I think this should be your photo. I use the same profile photo for every one of them. And it like gets so many hits. It's crazy.
That's good.
And it's literally me just sitting there with like a drink at a restaurant smiling.
Which works. So no, look, like if it looks like you're out or after work, that's how I switched it. Like my profile photo, it's me just normal, casual,
no makeup. Like my makeup looked like this. It's like very bare. It's very
and the guys those are the guys that you want, because I noticed when I was going out and dressed up and my photos were me in like a dress, you can see my cleavage.
Did she get stuck?
She's stuck in the Wi-Fi. She's stuck in Bumble.
Right, you got stuck.
The last thing I literally said was dick pic, and then my shit started circling. I go, I hope that's not the last thing that they heard me say was dick pic.
It was like, no.
The universe was like, bitch, make a profile and just do it. And that's another thing, because we had Spicy on, so I hear her in the back of my mind sometimes when I do certain things, and even when I'm on the dating apps. Because I remember when she was on, I was like, oh, I'm not a fan of them. But she was like, you got to kind of get hit with the times. So now that's why I switched up my photos. My profiles are a little bit different now. Now I try to take it serious, where sometimes I just wanted an ego boost. I would just go on, see who would swipe to like me, and I'd get hundreds of likes. And I'd be like, okay, cool, thanks. Now I know I'm pretty again. And I don't even like care. So
no, I've done that. I agree with you. I've done that too, Kiki. Like I've literally gotten on sometimes just for an ego boost. Like
it helps. The men are very eager to tell you how good you look. I'm like, thank you, sir. Let me delete this app.
That's why I travel now, because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to travel now, because I like meeting people in person. Yeah. I like feeling their energy. Like I like the in-person feel, because guys are weird these days.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like if I meet you, I can tell automatically if I want to vibe with you or if I don't.
Yeah.
And so on an app, I can't really do that. And I just feel like I don't, get that vibe. So I will say that if I'm not on the app, I do try to get out more. I try to be like, Kiki, because I be hitting you up like, it's the game. The boys is going to be out today.
Well, same, because, my whole thing was, I was like, I don't want to be on an app. I want to meet somebody in person. But I was like, I want to start going out more, because we can't just sit at home and say that. We have to actually be outside.
Yeah.
But I'm the outside girl. Like, I live outside. Like, I'm never home. So I'm always, but it was hard for me when I lived in LA to find people to go. But now we're like going out, and we're going out more often, and we're going to places. We're going to bars and restaurants and, rooftops where the guys that we may be looking for may be there. So I think, it's dope to do that. But I wanted to ask you guys, have you guys ever tried the like FaceTime features on the apps, or like, so I know you could do Zoom dates on the apps?
I want to do it on the apps. I like I said, you have to graduate first. So like if you graduate from the app to like getting my Google number, because that's a whole nother graduation. So you get my Google number, then we talk. And then like if we have a good conversation, because sometimes like on the app they seem fine, and then we talk and it's just like it's not flowing. Then it's just like, all right, because to me, conversation is the most important thing. Like if we can't talk on the phone and like, like laugh, then I don't want to go on a date with you, and I don't want to see your face. I could care less. But if we get to that part where we talk on the phone, then usually we will FaceTime, but FaceTime is like a 50-50, because by that time, as we talk on the phone and we're vibing, we're already planning to like go on a date anyway. Yeah. So it's kind of like it only happened FaceTime if like he's further out or our time is not like meshing. But yeah, we'll FaceTime after, but like if we have the first date and we're vibing, then like we're already kind of there. But yeah,
I feel like I don't FaceTime them or something on the app. Maybe I should start doing that, because then I don't have to even give out my Google number or whatever. And if we just don't vibe, then I already know. So I think that would probably be a good idea, or good like tool to use with the app. And I guess that's safety too. That's for safety as well.
They kind of did it during the pandemic more. And I noticed it. And when I was in New York, I did a few of them, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Like, did it have like, was it like a real FaceTime? Like, was it clear?
Yeah. It's like you do an app and it says it's like online dating, but you're on a date online, and they were like, we want to be safe during the pandemic. So you go on your first date on FaceTime. And it was actually pretty cool. And it kind of, because like Bumble becomes overwhelming because the girl has to make the first move if you are talking to guys. If it's girl on girl, one of the girls got to make the move, but it's girl on guy, you have to make the first move. So I remember one guy, I think you can request it or Bumble suggested, and I did with one guy, and it was actually pretty cool. And I'm not gonna lie, the guys I met like back home in New York, I was like, damn, these guys were cool. Too bad I'm leaving in September. Like it was like that, because I had so much like, I matched with really cool guys. They were the age that I wanted them to be. They were the caliber.
Yeah.
Like, I need to come back on the East Coast, apparently. I did a few of them like FaceTime dates. Shit that I've never done here. Like here, I'm like, I hate them, blah, 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 blah. But it was pretty cool. I highly recommend it.
So are you opposed to long distance dating?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's hard.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because I dated people here in LA, and I felt like that was long distance. And I felt like, damn, we live in the same fucking city. And I don't see you as often as I like.
Though.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's long distance because you may I'm in the valley and your ass is over there.
Right.
So I guess it really depends. Like if I meet somebody great back home, like again, when I was home, it was just Bumble dates and they were kind of cool. I didn't get the chance to like know them a little bit longer. So maybe if I met somebody dope, maybe that's a conversation to be had. I don't want to say it's out the way all the way, but it is hard.
I mean, I think long distance dating is very hard.
It's hard.
I used to think when I was younger, I was like, oh, no, you could do it. But recently, when I traveled and I met somebody, I realized how hard it really is.
I'm telling you guys, we live in the same city with most of these guys. And I'm like, you live 20 minutes from me, bro. What's up? I don't see
I just feel like dating as an adult is hard. Like when taxes and
they didn't tell us this when we were kids.
Like like it's when you're like when I was dating in like college or like my early 20s, like that was like easy. Like I could do long distance dating and stuff like that. But just even or not even just dating, period. But now it's just hard because it's a even though it's fun, it's another job. It's like, all right, cool. It's like calendar night. I have to squeeze you in. I have to figure this out. I have to make sure you happy and you make sure I'm happy. Oh, Valentine's Day coming. What are we gonna do then? What are we gonna eat then? Are you okay? Are you checking in? It's just like, God damn.
I'm not gonna lie, I had so much fun in my 20s dating. Like
I did too.
I never had a boyfriend, but I had a great dating life. I had a lot of fucking fun. I did long distance even in my 20s where it wasn't super long, but it was like New York and Boston, which is a 4-hour drive. But like my 20s was lit. Now, like as an adult, I'm like, this is like fucking time consuming. What the fuck?
I just said that too. I was like, dating feels like a full-time job. And then remember back in the day though, they had just Match and eHarmony, and we were when those commercials came on, you're like, remember when Essen Atkins was like, I found my husband on eHarmony, and we were all like, ew.
Yeah, do you know what's crazy? Do you know what I told Tinder? So when I got banned, I have to like no one really answers, so I email them like once every 6 months. I literally said to them, I was like, excuse me. First of all, I don't know why I'm banned because I didn't do anything. Second of all, this is a pandemic and I'm trying to find love, and I'd love it if you guys bring my page. And I feel like whoever works at Tinder was like, we definitely blocking this bitch. Because I was like, I have a hard time finding a man, and now this pandemic, I need to know.
Wait, have you tried black?
Yes, I hate black. I feel
like the same man on Tinder is on black.
Black is a recycle.
It's a recycle of black dudes. And I'm like, I seen you on Bumble, Hinge. Yes. Because it's all black guys. And it's not like, I feel like a lot in LA that's on dating apps. So the black guys that I see on black, I see them.
There are actually white guys on black too, though, ironically.
There are some white guys that have been in my DMs on black. And I'm like, why are y'all here? Go on Bumble. I'll meet you back on Bumble. Get out of here. It's for black people.
Black is very much a recycling, because I do feel that's another thing I feel too is like the guys out here, a lot of black men out here are not on dating apps. Like the guys I've met are not on dating apps.
That's true. The guys I meet in
at
person,
all.
The ones I meet in person, they're like, nah, I'm not on a dating app. I'm like, damn, I can't.
Yeah. The ones I meet in person, they're not on dating apps. And I'm like, damn, then what
am I need to be?
So then, hold on. So then I'm like, no, the dating apps are weird out here, so I don't want to deal with it. Because if you're on a dating app, you can't get that outside. So.
No, I understand why, because it's hard. Like, because understand, like LA, like men in LA, transplants and men from here are used to women coming up to them and bombarding. You know what I'm saying? I understand why people do dating apps, because work is hard. And a lot of people don't go out like the dudes that we'll see at like these bars and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of dudes be like, I don't feel like going out, so let me download this app to see if I can meet like a girl right quick. So I get why people go on there, but I have found guys here who are like, I'm not on a dating app. And I'm like,
yeah.
The fuck?
I find that those guys who are not on a dating app, they don't need to be on a dating app because they have either a roster or it's not hard. Like there's more women than men. So it's just like the guys who have it together, they don't really need to be on a dating app because like, you know, you
guys too that don't have it all together either. But when you meet them out,
these guys, man,
when you meet them out, you're like, oh.
You guys want to know the craziest thing that happened? This was like 2019, 18. So this is when I was going back and forth, downloading, re-downloading, uploading, whatever. And I like deleted Bumble. I go out to like the normal, because remember in the Valley, Wednesday nights were lit at like the bowling alley and the karaoke place.
At Pins?
At Pins. So I go out and I meet this guy and he's cute or whatever. And he's like talking to me, but his friend is who I find very attractive. But his friend kept like looking at me and I'm like, damn, I kind of wish his friend hollered at me, but why does he keep staring at me? Right. We go to the karaoke place and I'm like, damn, his friend keeps looking at me, but he's fine AF. But I'm talking to his friend. So I'm like, whatever. So I re-download Bumble re-download it, and I met the fucking fine friend swiped on me, but it ran out of time, and I was like, that's why he was staring at me. He had like matched with me on Bumble, so I'm trying to go on Bumble to be like, oh my god, that's the fine guy. So then I try to match with him, and it worked. And then I was like, because you know, women, you have to shoot your shot. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, funny, I literally just seen you. But I think he did what I did, where he deleted the app and like the time ran out, and now we see each other in person. It's like he doesn't know that like I rematched with him, so he'll just look at me, and I'm always like, nigga.
Would y'all? Okay, so I have this question: would y'all ever like try to make your own kind of like dating way on like Instagram and just drop into men's DMs?
I've done that before.
Really? I haven't done that, but I feel like, because I always feel like if I don't know you, I'm gonna end up in the blue, so it ain't gonna matter anyway.
I did that once.
I'm sending someone's DMs, not to hang out, but I just like, oh, you cute. Like I've done stuff like that.
Yeah, I did that once. I did a testing. Like he actually ordered products, and I was like, oh, you cute. I'm gonna do a work delivery. So I went to his work. I was like, oh, this is, and so he came out, got his stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, like I in the suit, I got you, like and so then after that, I was like, I hope you really love the products. Like, I hope your girlfriend likes it. And he's like, I don't have a girlfriend. So then I started trying to like, you know, but the answers he was giving me was giving me like, girl,
yeah.
I might not have a girlfriend, but I have. It seemed like he had a situation, so I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah. But I wouldn't have done that. That was like another spicy thing. Like I wouldn't have done that if I didn't talk to Spicy, because like really? Now because I'm not that. If I saw him, I'd be like, all right, you cute, and then it's like, well, if you think I'm cute, then you hit me up. Like I don't care. Right. Now it's just kind of like if I feel now I'll do that. Or even some pop-ups that I see a guy and we have like a conversation and then he starts following the company page, then I might follow him on my personal page and just see what he's about. Right. Which I never would have done. So now I kind of do stuff like that, but I'm very like,
it's funny because I be out there really shooting my shot, or I'm very like flirting and stuff, but on like something like Bumble, I never say anything.
I'm better in person with guys because I never I can shoot my shot in person. On dating apps, I'm just like, because Bumble, like, you know, I'd rather the guy say something to me because I've been shooting my shot like my whole life. But Bumble, you have to be the person, so I'm always like, God. But in person, I'm way better in person flirting. On the app, I'm like, hey. Hey, handsome.
And that's the other thing too, is that I feel like in person, I feel like you can definitely have like more of a vibing conversation.
Yeah.
Than just say, how are you? Or trying to figure out something to say to each other.
Yeah.
And because it dies so quickly. It's like 2 days you'll talk to somebody and be like,
in person it's just easier. It's fun. You're with a crowd. Say you're at a bar, you can have a cute conversation. You can walk away. Like it's
right.
It's just easy. You can be like, okay, I'll talk to you. Okay. And go back to your friend.
All right, I'll see you. It was nice meeting you. I do that all the time. Yo, that just happened to me. I know this is so off key. And Josh would be like, get back on point. But that just happened to me. I was out and I was actually out by myself. I was like, I'm going to go out by myself. I went out by myself and I was like vibing. And I was standing next to this dude. And and TK, I saw a person that you know there, and you had introduced me to him before. And so I was like, oh, we're going to have to bring you on to the podcast. What's his name? Isaac Keys. Is that who?
Oh, Isaac Keys. Yeah.
Anyway, he was sitting at the bar, and this guy who was standing next to me, I was trying to be like, oh, are you here by yourself too? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you ever feel weird, like coming to things like this by yourself? Y'all, this man starts talking about how human minds are so weird that we can control ourselves from not murdering each other and stuff. I was like, whoa.
Sir, you have a good day.
So since I saw Isaac, I was like, oh, I see somebody. So I had to walk over there and I was like, oh, hey.
Oh my God. I'm like, sir, you know what? I see my friend. I'ma just
I did too. I was like, oh, give me 1 second. I see somebody I know. And I walked over to him and like
and
see,
Isaac's the best person too, because he'll
yeah, because he
play
like
along.
hugged me. Like I was like, listen, I was like, we know TK. Like I was like, and so he hugged me and everything. But
that is scary.
Like he started talking about murder, y'all. Like
now, a bitch like me, I love investigation ID and murder docs. But if you say that's the first thing to come out your mouth as a man, I'm like, okay, let me get the fuck up. Sir, what do you? This is why it's so hard to date, because you're like, who's normal, who's not normal?
right. He's definitely probably on dating apps. And he was weird. He was like, no, I don't feel uncomfortable with coming out because as humans, we can really control our minds. I mean, we're so powerful that we can control our minds not to even murder people.
Oh,
like, what?
Sir, you might not want to say murder to a woman.
That's right.
That part.
I immediately was like, oh, I see somebody I know. Give me 1 second.
You know what? I'll be right back. I see my homeboy. The fuck?
Streets, man.
Well, you know what I want to, speaking of like stuff like that, does it ever scare you? Because we just seen what happened with the young lady on Bumble, Lauren from Connecticut, and then I've seen stories of like people on Tinder and people. I remember we were like, I don't know if we were in college or high school, but that guy, he was from Boston, and it freaked me out because he was from Boston, and he met and killed two women in like the hotel. So does that ever like scare you guys a little bit when you're on dating apps, when you think about those stories?
That's why I kind of like safeguard. Like I don't very few people know, and thankfully like my landlord's right beside me. And it's like a whole family, but it's like very few people know like where I live. And then like you have to like I'm just kind of particular on certain, like there's steps to everything. And of course you can't safeguard everything, but you know, like I have to feel a certain way to come to your house. Like, cause guys are always trying to invite women over.
They be quick to invite you to their house. I'm like,
yeah, they will.
I be a serial killer. You do not know me. You know, a guy matched with me and was like, oh, I want to make dinner. Do you want to come over? I'm like, my nigga.
That's the classic line.
He's like, I have a rule. Either when I match, you need to like hang out with me the day of. I said, you're a serial killer, and I fucking match with you. You fucking psycho.
What? Yeah. Like, this is what I will say. Her name is Lauren Smith Fields.
Yeah.
And that really, like, I've always thought about that, but that really shook me because, like, I feel like it was the Bumble date. It was a white guy. And, you know, we're trying to step out now. We're trying to be like.
Older man presenting himself with money.
Exactly. And you're trying to be like, okay, I am trying to step out a little bit and we'll talk about divesting and like divest and stuff because LA is hard.
Yeah.
When it comes to dating just Black men. So you're like, okay, I need to be maybe a little more open. And so I will say that, and y'all, this is about to sound so prejudiced. It really made me nervous to meet white guys online. And I sometimes feel like just because we have two totally different cultures, let's be honest.
Right. I'll scare you a little bit more, Monique. The cute boy on Tinder was Black and he was killing Black girls on Tinder. And he was the last girl he killed her in her house when her family was there. That one shook me because he was a young Black dude and in LA, in New York, fine, like very fine. Like we all would find him very attractive.
That was like that guy who was going around on the dating apps and he was fine and he was giving girls AIDS.
That's another one. I'm gonna say, like with Lauren, the young ladies that this guy was killing, like it shook me because, like, you know, with the Lauren thing, like you said, dating outside our race, and this is an older guy presenting himself like he has it together. But then with the young Black guy that we all would find attractive, I was like, damn, that shook me because I think people have the perspective of what they think serial killers look like, and he to us looked like the guy that I would meet at the sports bar, and I was like, damn, I find him very fucking attractive. He was killing Black girls. That's why I was like, okay. And so sometimes when it comes to dating apps, I do get nervous because I hear all these stories and I'm just like, you know, but love and prayers and, you know, to Lauren's family. And I hope that they, you know, they're reopening back that case, and love and prayer to all the women and men who have lost their lives. I remember that guy who killed those two women in the hotel back in the day. Like, it's scary, but people, we want to get out there because we do want to date. And I think we should. And like TK said, you can't safeguard everything. So it does make you nervous. But then like when meets the guy at the bar who's like, so murder.
So well with murder, and you're just like, damn, like I thought if I would have met you online and just thought you were this person and you're talking about murder to me. Like, I can't lie. Like, I don't even think Isaac knows, but he definitely saved me in that moment because I was like,
it's scary, but there are normal people on there. There's good people on there. And I think like, because Bumble made a statement, and same thing with Uber, when people were getting killed in Ubers, I think the companies are trying their hardest to like, because even now when you go on Bumble, they have verified pages and they try to do this thing to make it a little bit more safer, but you really just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's advice to keep safe out there. Make sure you have some steps in line, because like nobody I've met online has ever been to my house. Yes, they cannot come to my house. They cannot pick me up. You don't even, like there's been times where there's been times where guys will be like, "Oh, I'll come and get you." I will give them a fake address and walk there. Like,
okay, same.
I do not play those games. Honestly,
I'm not gonna lie. If you guys have given me their addresses, and I'm like, y'all look crazy, because I could be either a guy pretending to be me or a serial killer, and they've been very open, like, yeah, come hang out. And I'm just like,
yeah, they are. Right, they're more open, but
because they're thinking with the second hand. They're not.
Well, yeah, I know what they're thinking about. They're thinking about fucking.
Yeah,
but
they trying to
cut off, because I could be.
I'm cooking dinner. Do you want to come over? No, I don't know you.
I could be. What's her name from that movie? God. Never mind. I'm gonna have a brain freeze. But where she ties the guy up on the bed and fucking kidnaps him. That's the date. I could be her. Well, you know.
Guys, I just watched that movie with. Is it with Michael Douglas? Not Michael Douglas.
Oh no, that's what
and
Glenn
Sharon
Close and Michael Douglas.
No, it's Sharon. It's Sharon. What's her name? Yeah, Sharon Stone and Michael Douglas.
The one with him and Glenn Close is fucking Fatal Attraction, when she's fucking insane.
Yes.
But see, search his ass right for cheating on his wife. But this one with Kathy Bates, she's like a fan of this Arthur. What is the name? He's like,
I remember that one.
Like kidnaps him and ties him to the bed. Fuck, it's like at the tip of my tongue. But I'm like, I could be her. But I've gotten so many addresses where I'm like, men are just different.
They do. They be like, Colette, like, come over. This is my address. I'm cooking. I'm like, y'all
like,
weird.
So poison me. I'm not eating your food at your house. No.
Slip you a roofie.
That's why pandemic online dating was really fun.
It's called Misery.
Misery. There we go. Misery.
Oh, she found it. Misery.
Online dating in the pandemic was actually fun. It was a good time.
It was. I did too.
It was very creative and inventive, like with some folks, which was nice.
And there were more guys because it was the pandemic. It's a lot of more guys who putting in like the work too. So I enjoyed it.
And I feel like, you know, at that time too, it was really cool because I didn't really have to get dressed or put on makeup or nothing. And then you could date without like them being all scared to spend money or whatever. It was like, you would go to the park, or we would go to Malibu, or like meet in different spots. It was, TK, you're right. It was very creative. It was very it was very creative, very just free flowing, like being focused, because the guys here in LA don't have to be focused because there are so many women. So they always think there's something better. Like, I'm not going to work on this because there's something better.
Right.
But yeah, I liked it. I had so much fun.
It was the best time I think I've ever had on a dating app, where I had spicy in one ear, and then it was the pandemic, so it like worked for me. Where I was like, damn, this actually is not bad. It was pretty cool. The guys seemed cool. Yeah, and I had a good time.
Yeah, I did too. I had actually met like one person that we were like, you know, it was kind of like a back and forth, but he ended up being a really cool person, and I was like, oh, he's cool. And then I had my hookup buddy who I could just go to, who was 5 minutes away from me, that I could just go to every night if I wanted to.
I had one of those who lived up the street from me. That was great.
I mean,
it's fun when they're your neighbor. I was like, hey, wow, okay.
Right. And I found him online. I was like, I hope you ain't crazy.
I found mine on Bumble, and he was not black. He was Armenian, and he was fine as fuck. And
man, the Armenians love them some black.
They love black women. This is when I lived like closer to bourbon
I
because
feel like they don't like us.
Yeah, they do online.
They like you in secret.
They like they like us in secret and like having sex with us because a few of my friends happen to be Armenian, and that's why I was like, they don't mind curvy black girls. But the one guy who's my hookup buddy who lived literally up the street, his house was nice and he had a nice car and he had money. That was fun.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God he's not crazy. but
he
was cool as shit. Like he was like down to earth. He was very cool and yeah.
Yeah, because me and mine, we met like one day and then we were just talking and then he was just like, pull up, and I was like, well, I'm gonna make him my hookup buddy. And I was like, I hope you ain't crazy. Like, I hope you're not a serial killer.
I had one during the pandemic in New York and he was cool as shit too. That's why I'm like, when people are honest about, like when guys are honest about what it is and we're honest, it's actually a good time and there's no expectation.
Yeah.
And these people end up being like friends of mine where I'm still friends with them on social media. And they're like, oh, you're looking good. Hey, I hope all is well. Like, it's just cool.
Yeah.
Because they communicate and I communicate what I want and they communicate what they want. So it ends up being a good look.
Yeah, I agree.
Shout to the dating apps.
Well, that was our update on our online dating.
After this, I will say I'm going to download them and I'm going to try it again.
You should try Facebook dating.
I am, because YouTube, I've gotten like stories from YouTube now. So now I'm going to try it. I'm going to do Facebook. I'm going to do Hinge. I haven't done Hinge in a while. And then I'm going to redo my Bumble. And I'm going to try them. What's today? We're technically in February. So I'm going to go. Should I do like a month? I'll probably do a month.
You should do a month. You should try it for a month and be open.
Do it more. Just do it until you find what you want. Do it on both. Go on the app and then go outside and first decide on what you want, and then do it until you find it. Don't give it a month and then give up.
You're right, TK. That's what I'm gonna do. Today is the
day.
Well,
I agree. At the end. This is what I say. I say great advice, TK, but I'm going to give a little different advice. I feel like you can put a timeline on it because that's going to force you to actually make it through your timeline instead of getting on and then getting off. If you're like, I give myself 30 days, I'm very clear on what I want. I give myself 30 days. I have to stay on here and swipe once a week for 30 days. That's a goal. And you're going to push yourself to be accountable for that goal. And then because it's not too hard, and you know it's just 30 days, you'll force yourself to continue to do it at least once, twice a week.
I feel both of what you guys are saying because I think that works, especially for me who deletes them all the time. What Monique says, but then and when I keep going, what TK says works. So I agree with what both of you guys are saying. So I'm gonna try.
And then also too, if you want something, because that was like my thing too. It just depends on where it falls on what you really want. Like if you really want to be in a relationship, then like according to Spicy, and this is what I did. I was doing that daily. I was doing it daily. Right before I went to bed, I was responding to people. So I made it a habit. So I did that. I don't do that. Like when I found like my guy, I was doing it daily. And I was, responding back to people on a regular basis every day. And I made it a habit. And that was like really helpful versus I found I wasn't as successful when I was going on it. Like, oh, I have time now. And okay. And it might be 3 weeks, might be a month. So it just first decide on what you really want to do.
Yeah.
So
right. And that's why I say you do gotta get the goals. Like TK, you knew you were like, okay, this is the goal to get, this is what I want, but I'm gonna get on every day at night at this specific time and do it to force myself that accountability. But I say that to you, Kiki, because you're in your mind, you're like, oh, I don't like this, so I'm gonna get off. But if you force yourself not to get off and continue the habit, then you're more likely to maybe run into somebody or find somebody when you would have been like, oh shit, I would have been off by now. But because I dedicated 30 days and I have to keep myself accountable to this goal because I want to accomplish this goal, then, you're doing it for the goal and you know what you have in mind, but you're doing it for the goal and the goal ends up leading you to the destination. So,
boom.
Thank you, ladies.
There it is.
I'm definitely
Putting
do that.
in the universe,
and I'll have my
Kiki
update
has a man.
Yes.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Girl, you gonna marry your first relationship.
No, I'm not. But
no, you should receive that.
I receive marrying someone, but not my first. Like, I want to date people and get to know folks, but I don't want to like marry the first.
I said your first relationship, not dating.
Oh, okay. I was like, not the first nigga I meet on Bumble. No.
Not dating, child.
I want to sift through them, but yes, I'm claiming it. I'm gonna re-download them and see what happens.
Yes. Keep us updated.
I'm gonna keep you updated. I'll have an update, and like when we're done with this season, I'll give an update.
Yes. Give us the update on your online dating.
Yeah.
And we all need an update.
Yeah, we gotta give the end of this season. Let's all update each other on our dating.
We're gonna update. We're gonna follow back up on this and update y'all on our online dating lives. If we found anybody from it, what was our experience now that we kind of set goals for it? So, I mean, TK, you got your thing going on. So TK may not, you know, she might be in a different aspect, but we'll keep you guys updated. Ladies, tell them where they can find you.
You can slide in my DMs at Kiki Boom Boom.
And you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad.
And you can find me everywhere at Hey Mo Love. Also, make sure you follow us, and you can find us everywhere at Queens Uncut on all social media platforms. And we also have our website, www.blackqueensuncut.com. And check us out. Check this video out and other videos out on our YouTube page at Black Queens Uncut. And we drop a new episode every Wednesday as we are in season 4. So make sure that you catch up with all the other seasons and, you know, wait for us this one. After you listen to this, wait for us next Wednesday. So turn on those notifications. Happy Black History Month. I need to say that too. Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
And we love you, Queendom family. Bye.
Bye.